The best of Money Matters. Right Business.
Welcome to The Right Business. I'm Hongbin Jeong. Most people don't switch careers because they're bored. They do it because they have to. Industries change, job security vanishes, and for many mid-career professionals in Singapore, the pressure to reskill is real. But switching into cybersecurity, that's a whole different beast. It's technical, fast-moving, and often feels out of reach for those without an IT background. That's exactly why the Center for Cybersecurity Institute was started by a team who've been there, done that. As Singapore continues to invest in digital capabilities and cybersecurity talent, CFCI represents a different kind of training provider, one that's less focused on tech buzzwords and more focused on people. So what are the biggest gaps in cybersecurity education today, and how exactly is CFCI bridging that divide for learners who never thought a tech career was within reach? Well, joining us today to share more is James Lim, who's a co-founder and CEO of Center for Cybersecurity Institute. Hi, James. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Hongbin. Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you so much for joining us. Well, James, what gap did you see in the cybersecurity training landscape that existing providers weren't addressing?
I think from our point of view, there's no shortage of cybersecurity courses out there, but mostly still focus heavily on textbook theory or online slideshows. But at CFCI, we put a lot of weight on practical learning, right, from hands-on tasks to real-world practice labs and to even real-world simulations, to get them prepared for the work. And on top of that, we are a people-first training company. Every student comes from different backgrounds, different learning styles, and we take that into account in our training, rather than a blanket approach.
Okay, I mean, there's no shortage of cybersecurity courses out there, but most still focus heavily on textbook theory or online slideshows. But it looks like CFCI puts a lot of weight on practical learning, from simulations, real-world labs, to hands-on tasks. Is this what makes CFCI different from others in the industry? Why was it so important to you to move away from theoretical training?
Yeah, but I think there are a couple of points here. Firstly, is that, we align our curriculum and practical learning to the industry so that the students are operationally ready upon graduation. And the other thing is that we also added in career services, because mid-careerists, that's where our current focus is on, also need support beyond just learning cybersecurity, provide interview preparation, resume workshops, and even one-on-one consultations with our in-house career coach. And we add on, all of these things together with the practical elements, right? And to help the students to prepare for industry-recognized certifications, to enhance their prospect of securing a job after graduation, because that's where the current industry is moving towards, right? They really need people who are really more technical and not just having the theoretical knowledge.
Can you elaborate on some of the training activities that one would receive if they were to be a client?
We actually get them to set up virtual machines, virtual computers, right, so that, it doesn't hurt the actual computer that they're using. Get them to set things up like servers, routers, firewalls. We demonstrate what needs to be done, the how-to aspect, and the student gets to try, on their end. And we then get them to challenge themselves on lab practices on our learning management systems. We also then, put them in scenario-based training, right? Those who came for our workshops would know that we simulate a real-world working environment while getting them to apply, the skills and knowledge that they will learn, during the training itself.
Well, tell us about one CFCI graduate story that really captures what makes your program unique.
Actually, there are a lot, but they're quite similar in that sense. So, for example, Mr. Tan, right, he was a military personnel. He joined our course back in 2022 while finishing his service. He got his sign-on as a military personnel. And, from there, he managed to transition successfully into a security analyst, so C analyst. And, through that journey, he's grown, he's applying what he's learned on the job. And, right now he's an SOC team lead. Right, and these are all very similar stories for all our graduates, right? They come from no IT background, some are F&B chefs, some are outdoor trainers, right? And then they took a leap of faith, and then they learned it, and then they managed to transit and excel in their career.
Interesting. I mean, you've mentioned before that CFCI was designed to be the kind of program you wished existed when you were trying to break into the cybersecurity space. So what were the specific gaps or frustrations you encountered when you were trying to upskill yourself?
A lot of times, trainings out there, when we're trying to upskill, right, we are usually bound by time and resources. right? You either learn from somewhere and then they expect you to have some knowledge and skills or concepts before attending the course, or, you either learn something not as in-depth within a short amount of time, and then, you really realize that, it's not enough, and then it can't help you to transit fully, or, it can't give you what you need, and then you go a roundabout way to gather more information, and the journey becomes very, very painful.
Were there moments you felt traditional courses weren't built for someone like you? I mean, what would have made your journey more effective?
Definitely. I think the over-reliance on slides, right, or slideshows in certain traditional courses, it gets to me, because I think we are in the stage where, we can read a slide. But what we want to know as learners is that we want to know the thought process, the how-to, right, and, what are the pitfalls, and, what else more that we can try and challenge ourselves. And especially in this day and age where there's AI, that can really effectively summarize, traditional courses might have to then change that approach, right, in terms of just over-relying on slideshows, and then I just read off the slides. And it really takes the learning away from the learners themselves in terms of getting their hands dirty to try things out.
Right. I mean, for someone coming from, say, teaching or F&B, cybersecurity might seem like an intimidating field. What kind of fears do your learners often express at the start?
So usually there are two parts to it, right? Because these are usually mid-career switchers, and most of them, right, believe that, if they have no prior experience, cyber is too difficult for them to thaw an order. But approximately 74% of our graduates have no IT background, and many of them have gone on to secure roles in the industry. So on that note, right, we actually have students from F&B, like I mentioned earlier on, chefs, hawker, nurses, right? And these people don't have IT background, and, we've successfully helped them to transit into cybersecurity. So the concern of having no IT background or no prior experience, it's kind of like, solved in that sense. But the other side is that because these mid-career switchers, they are usually in their 30s or 40s, so they are concerned, and understandably so. And what we do is that we try to help them to lay out from the very beginning what the roadmap will look like in terms of potential salary, career progression, and, how they can continuously improve to secure promotions, job security, to, also manage expectations, right, especially in this current market.
I mean, one of CFCI's core philosophies is that job readiness matters more than paper qualifications. Walk us through what job readiness actually means in today's cybersecurity landscape and how CFCI helps learners develop that readiness.
In this day and age, it can be quite demanding. There are 3 points that are kind of condensed, right? And I think the first one would be the technical know-how. Not just memorizing technical words, jargons, but because every role, right, there will be a technical assessment during the interview segment, and they will get a candidate to set things up or, investigate or try to, hack into a computer, right, to really, really demonstrate their skills. So having the technical know-how, it's a key criteria. But the other 2 points, right, it's really more on the soft skill side of things, which is first one, problem solving, and the other one, people skills. So when it comes to problem solving, companies, hirers wants to know, right, how resourceful one can be, whether they understand what to prioritize, how to resolve issues promptly and appropriately, especially when it comes to cybersecurity for companies. They need to keep the business going while, solving or preventing or, remediating attacks. So the ability to problem solve is really key, and people skills, right? So unlike movies or shows where we see, hackers, kind of work, in silo, cybersecurity is not a siloed job, right? You have to know how to work as a team across different teams, stakeholder management, client management, all these soft skills. Because at the end of the day, cybersecurity is still a people's industry.
Definitely. I mean, you also focus heavily on mid-career switchers. Why do you think this group has been underserved in traditional tech training?
Many training courses out there are still quite at the surface level. Some only for a couple of days, promising that, if you go through the course, you can land a job, which is not exactly true. Right, and then this misleads people into thinking that, after a couple of hours of training, they can become a cybersecurity practitioner, right, when there's a lot more that goes on in terms of the technical knowledge. Point number 2, I would say it's like it takes a lot of investment actually to take mid-careerists from little to no tech background all the way until that they are operationally ready cybersecurity practitioners. Not many training companies are willing to invest in that time and resource. They prefer to stick to quick, short programs, and a little bit of a plug-in here. Our program actually consists of 300 over hours, in terms of teaching, right, with a huge percentage of them, having like hands-on practices. So the commitment needs to be there, which is, which may not be that doable for certain companies. Point 3, lastly, is that there's a misalignment between training providers and industry. So many graduates may come out from the programs and they are not able to apply the knowledge and skills to get a job. And what we do is that we continuously speak to the industry practitioners, employers, our alumni to ensure that the program is constantly kept up to date.
So, James, what trends are you seeing in Singapore's cybersecurity industry right now, and how should mid-career professionals prepare to ride that wave?
We've seen a huge change, actually. So unlike 3 years ago, post-COVID, right, it was still an employees market where job applicants, get to choose the companies that they want to work for. Today, it's very different. It's largely an employers market where companies, are deciding who to hire. They are tightening their requirements. And with that in mind, and then now there's AI. So the need for mid-career switchers, right, is that they will need to really know their stuff, right? What they're talking about, how to do things. And I like to, equate this to like back then when we started to adopt calculators in school, right? The demand for mathematical fundamentals are higher, right? And there's more room for applied use of calculators. Same thing for cybersecurity today. The applied knowledge, right? It's there. It's no longer like I can regurgitate, talk about fundamentals of cyber because the AI can do it way faster than us. And lastly, is that employers would want someone who can make judgment of the information, provide solution, and not just someone who can repeat things from the AI. They want someone who can make decisions on the go, right, and to be able to do the accuracy check, right? So the demand for mid-career switchers, in today, right, is a lot higher. They really need to know what they're going to do.
Right. And before we let you go here, James, what's next for CFCI? Are there any expansion plans in the pipelines?
We have been working very closely with Ngee Polytechnic, right, who has been a great partner in terms of launching the mid-career courses. We've also worked very closely with E2I, all right, to conduct workshops and talks and, to help us to reach out to the greater audience. So we are looking for more partners to work together. And at the same time, we are launching out new trainings, currently still with Ngee Poly, right, for the next phase of our students and alumni, for those who are looking to upskill themselves, further their career in cybersecurity and to take on different tracks.
Lovely. Well, thank you so much, James, for joining me today.
Thank you, Hongbin. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. That was James Lim, co-founder and CEO of Center for Cybersecurity Institute. This has been The Right Business with me, Hongbin Jeong.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.